Okay, in this example, our task is to comment on the diagram. Okay, so let's read the title. What's the diagram about? It's about UK goods exports to the EU and also to the non-EU, and this is as a percentage of the total UK goods. So it's always going to add up to 100. So that explains why these two graphs are a reflection of each other, because all exports are either to the EU or non-EU, and they have to add up to 100%. So as one graph goes up, the other one has to go down. Okay, we're asked to comment on it. So what is happening to exports? Well, we can see that there is a clear downward trend in the exports of the exports here. So we can see the slightly dark one is EU. So there's been a downward trend in exports to the EU, and therefore there must have been an upward trend in the percentage of exports to non-EU countries. Okay, I think if you make one of these 2 points, then the other one follows from it, but it's no bad thing to say them both. If we look at the variation about that trend, I can't see a clear pattern in it, so I might even not comment on that, but I could say there's random variation about that trend. Okay, and one other point about this kind of diagram, we're going to talk about misleading graphs later on, but the diagram makes it seem like there's been maybe a dramatic increase from all the way down here to all the way up here. If we compare these two heights, this height at the end seems very much bigger than this one, but we need to see that this scale starts at 35. So therefore, okay, because the vertical scale has been cut off, this diagram could exaggerate the visual effect of the changes because the y-axis does not start from 0. Okay, so that's how we could describe the risk. It could be misleading by exaggerating the visual impression it's giving of an increase or a decrease. Okay, the point being that if we actually took the y-axis all the way down to 0 and the graph had this white space at the bottom, then this change from nearly 40 to this change of a bit more than 50, okay, would look more like the size it is compared with a massive increase.